Hi, I'm Mimi McClellan and welcome to Craft Time. Tonight we're going to be making these pretty pins with friendly plastic, and our guest tonight is Marge Kirkpatrick, and she's been making these pins for quite a while. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I can't wait to get started, and we're going to make pins, we're going to make earrings, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Now, what do you got for us?
Okay, you buy the friendly plastic in any craft store, and you can get these little heads, and they come in different shapes and sizes. Some of them have necks, and you put hats and clothes on them. So what you do is you cut a piece of plastic, enough to make the hat, and you have to melt it.
Okay, now
in an electric frying pan.
How hot is our water? Are we going to burn our fingers?
No, not usually. You don't put your fingers in the water. You let it move around a little bit. Now sometimes it starts steaming. You can use a stove top with a regular fry pan, or you can use an electric fry pan. And you just move the plastic around so it doesn't get stuck to the pan. Okay?
Okay.
And you can make, like you said, you can make earrings with these to match and make sets. And you just get it so it's workable, so it's, you know, pretty melted.
Can you
Not
leave it
too
in the
bad, though.
Can you leave it in the water too long? Will it?
Yes, you can.
So
and
you
you
need
pull
to
it
get
out. You use a knife that's not too big, and you fold it over so the back is facing up. And you fold over a piece to make the brim of the hat. Then you take the head and you put the middle of it on the top of her head and fold it over so she has a hat. She started to make a hat. Okay? Then you fold the front over like that and make the front of her hat.
And this stays flexible for quite a while?
It should, although this one here seems to be getting hard. So what you can do is you can stick it back in again.
Stick that girl's head in the water.
And you can melt it a little bit more to make it work. Okay, so you just stick the part of the hat that gets a little hard. Usually it stays pretty flexible for a little while. And you mold it, and you make a hat, and you just make it so it looks like she has a hat on. And it goes around the back of her head, and you can shape them any way you want. You can make them big brimmed or small.
Okay, why don't we lay that flat there for a bit.
Okay. And then, to make her clothes, you take another piece of plastic and usually cut a V out of it so it'll fit on her neck well. And I melt that. And now I have, let's see, I don't know where they went. You can make the earrings any shape that you want. You can make squares or triangles, whatever, and put a regular back on them, or a fish hook. And so you melt the other piece of plastic, it's almost a square, and you put it on her neck like that, and you wrap it around the front of her neck, and you make something like a scarf. And that's it. You let it sit to dry, and so it'll dry flat.
Okay.
And then when it's done, you decorate it. This is one that I made before, and it's the same idea. You just make the hat and the scarf, whatever color you like, and you can put different colors on it. You can use paint, you can use beads, anything that you like. So how to decorate them, how I usually do it, is I put something on their hat, like a brim or something that looks like a hat band.
Now, is that just paint, or
it's
is that
just regular
glue?
fabric paint.
Okay.
And it'll harden kind of puffed up. So you can make it look like a band on her hat.
Oh, I see how it is.
Then you could make little buttons on her coat going down. And you can even make an earring on her. Like that. Then I sit that down and let it dry a little bit. And you put a pin on the back of it with glue. The glue that I use is, this one's called Goop. You can also get one that's called E6000. It's household glue. It's better than say, super glue or Elmer's or anything like that, it has a funny smell, but it will go away in a few days. It's much stronger than regular glue, and they seem to last a long time without, you know, having anything fall off them or anything. And want to make some earrings?
Yep.
Okay.
I want to make a face too.
Okay. So why don't we do another face then?
Okay.
Do you want to do one with a
profile.
side?
Yep.
Okay. And you just pick the color that you want.
Okay. Here, I'm gonna use this pretty color here.
You try to, yeah.
The big
use,
pieces.
The big piece can be the hat.
Okay.
Okay.
Throw that in that
So
hot
you
water.
melt the hat, and you just try not to make the water too hot so it's not boiling, because if it boils, sometimes you can melt the plastic too quick and
burn my fingers.
and burn your fingers. Right. When it comes out of the pan, it's a little wet, so sometimes it tends to be a little hot. But if you move it around, it should melt in a minute.
That's very quick.
And you pull it out.
Okay.
Okay. And you fold over the brim.
Okay. Let's just fold this up this
Yeah.
way.
Yep, just like that, and make it flat. Yep, flatten it out.
Okay.
And then you turn this over, and you put that on the top of her head like that.
Okay.
And you fold it over the top of her head first. Okay?
Now.
And you make sure you have enough to make her front of her hat and fold it over. And then you mold it to her head. And is it hardening again? You can do anything you want with it. You can make it look like that.
Okay.
It's very, you know, it's very flexible. You can make anything you like with it. Any kind of hat.
I like that.
Yeah, that's different. Okay.
Different.
I like it. So now you want
Okay.
to
Now I
make
need clothes.
clothes. Okay. So this one, we won't cut a V out of it. We'll just make it with a regular square. And we'll move the plastic around. And you can see it starts to get a little flexible. Okay? But you just don't want it to stick to the pan. And you want to use a very thin knife because it tends to stick to metal easily. Not the tin foil, though. That's why I use the tin foil, so it won't stick. Now, I usually do something like this. And then you can take it and put it on her clothes, wrap it around her neck so it looks like she has some kind of
Oh, there you go.
around her neck. And you can make this do anything you want. You can make it come up far down. You can make it have a little
crinkle
crease in it.
Yep.
It's pretty flexible, and like I said, they all come out different. They're never the same. They all look completely different. Even if you make them with the same color, they never look like the same people.
And now you have all these wonderful trims. I'm going to have fun putting trims on mine.
Oh,
I've got
yes.
some pearls and
Yes.
sequins, and this is real fancy trim.
Yeah, any kind of trim you have around the house, little beads or sequins. You can
Or you
put
could-
anything you want on them. You can put paint. You
Old
could put
jewelry
little
you could
old
cut
jewelry.
up.
You could do beads, right? Anything you have in the house.
And
that's-
feathers. We have this feather. I'm going to
Yeah.
put a feather on
You
mine.
can put a feather on her hat and make it come down so it
Now, how long do we have to wait until we start decorating it?
once you can get it up off the tin foil and it
it's
doesn't
hard?
move,
Oh,
right?
okay. So those got to wait a bit.
Right. This one here is okay. This one's hardened, okay?
All right.
And so is this one, this red one.
Oh, I love that one.
She got a little paint on her hat, but that's no big deal. All right. So once you paint them and everything, you usually leave them still, so because you want the paint to harden without getting all over it.
Okay, now we have some earring molds. Maybe
Yes.
we could work with one of those while we're waiting
Okay.
for it to harden.
You could take any color you want. The gold's pretty nice. Okay. I'm going to take this whole piece of gold
All right.
and I'm going to melt this. Now the molds are good because if you really don't have a head or anything and you want to make something that resembles an earring or whatever, you don't have to cut out. Sometimes I'll make square ones and I take a piece of cardboard or a piece of paper and
Oh, and use it like a
use it
template?
as a, yeah, and
I see.
I'll draw it onto a piece of plastic, and then I cut the plastic out the way I want it.
Oh, I bet you could do something pretty for Valentine's Day.
And you
Hearts.
pull the plastic out to the edge. It's okay if it goes over because you want to be able to cut it.
Okay.
Okay? And you just push it down inside the mold so it picks up the
impression.
And you want to do the right side so you can see it. And you just press it down and you let it sit. Now this one should be good enough to decorate that you made.
Okay.
You can put anything you
I'm
want
going to
on
have
it.
to decide what I want to put on
Yes.
it. Okay. It's like a kid in a candy store.
Uh-huh. Now what you want to do is you want to lay the beads out on it, and you want to cut the beads to the length you think it would be before you put it on.
Like that.
All right?
Okay,
So
I need the
there's-
scissors.
Mhm.
Oops. There we go.
So you cut them just about where you think that they should go.
Okay,
then
now I need
The
some of
glue here. Okay. The glue tends to get a little sticky if it's sitting around and
Oh, the hot
it
lights
comes
doesn't
out
help.
right. Okay, but you put some of the glue on
Oh, quite a bit.
and you roll it around just so you get some on there.
Okay.
And then you just put it down the edge of where you want it.
Now, does this glue...
It'll harden clear
Okay.
so you can't even see it.
Okay, so now I'm just
Then you
gonna...
just place your beads along the edge of her hat, whichever way that it's going.
Whoops.
And now if it starts to come up on the end,
Yeah.
you just put a little bit more glue on the edge of it so it'll stay. And if you push it down,
There you
it should
go.
stay right where you put it. Okay?
Oh, I was going to put a feather, but maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Or we could put a feather on this one. Then she needs something on her
She needs
coat.
a jewel.
Okay?
We have some jewels somewhere?
We have some
Oh, a
sequins.
sequin.
Okay?
Oh, and she might need an earring, too.
Yeah. You can buy all different sizes of sequins, different colors. I buy mixed ones, so you get different sizes. And depending on what you want to put on them, you could put a gold one on her, or you could put the same color, all white or whatever you like.
Let's see, what do I need on her?
You just look at it to see what you think you might need.
I think she needs maybe a couple.
I have a green jewel here, too.
Oh, let's stick that on her. But we
Okay.
need some more glue.
So she has a green jewel. And you just want to put the glue where you think you want the jewel.
Okay, let's just put that like right there.
Mm-hmm. And then you just place the jewel on the glue. You don't want to have too much glue overhanging. But put it in a place where you can see it. And then if the little thing on the hat, the beads start to come off, you just push them back down again. In a few minutes, it'll start to harden pretty good, and it'll stick well. So as you're making them, you just keep looking at them and to see. Now this earring is pretty hardened. So what I do is I take the
Put this
mold
over
off
to,
of it.
to dry.
Okay.
Get it out of her
I
way.
take the mold off of it, and it's rounded with the impression. Now it depends on what kind of plastic you use. You just
Scissors?
want to see what the best color would be. And you just cut around the edge of it.
While she's doing this, I'll show you. We did a pretty
It's like red and blue.
red one earlier today.
Okay.
Now,
And you could put
well, we'll try
a
that on
jewel
there.
in the
That'll
middle of
show
it. You could put a jewel in the middle of it. You could
Whoops.
put the paint in the middle of it. You could
You
do.
could put a little row of pearls around it.
Mm-hmm. You could do something like.
Oh, that's right.
You could even put, say, I'll put it on this. You could put black dots on it around the edge.
Oh, I see. They look like
Yeah,
jewels themselves.
yeah. And you could put maybe a round circle. And then you could put maybe a jewel in the middle of it. Maybe a round one or
What do we got here that might fit in there?
one of these. This one here will fit. So you place it down inside so you don't, and you'd want to put a little glue in there too to keep it on there. This could be earrings. It could be a pin.
A pin.
It could be anything you like, depending on how big of the earrings that you like.
I think that's great.
Like I said, you can make all different shapes, and you can decorate them any way you like. You can buy little hooks and little fasteners to make earrings, and you just put a little hole in the pieces that you want to connect. And this one has a little circle that keeps it together, and it just hangs.
Okay. Now, I noticed on some of the pins we've got hair. The
Uh-huh.
ladies have hair.
Yes.
Now we'll have to make one with hair on it.
Okay. This one here, her
Can we-
hat comes up pretty far. So depending on how you make it, if it looks like it needs hair, I usually put hair on it. So once it's hardened, you pull her hat off and it comes right off.
Oh.
Okay? But you have to wait till it's hardened and you pull her little
Dress
coat off.
off.
Okay? Now you put whatever color hair you want on her.
Okay.
Okay?
Shall we make her blonde?
Sure.
Okay.
And you need the glue. And you take the glue and you put it over the top of her head.
Okay, so here we have, oops.
Like
Here
I
we have
said,
some hair.
you put the glue on the top of her head, going over the top so the hair will stick, and down her neck. And you need to do this with the hat off.
How much hair do you need?
Because, okay, what I usually do is I take a long enough curl. Okay.
Oh, a long piece.
Yep, because you want to. All right, this
Oh.
one's good right here. And what you do is you start at the top of her head and make bangs. And you put it on the top like this. And you just kind of. The blonde, you have to use a little bit more because it doesn't show up that good.
Oh, probably
Okay.
should have used a different color.
No. It'll look good when you put the hat back on again. Okay?
Yeah, then
But
it'll
you just
show.
coil it up so it looks like hair. And you stick it to the head, going down to the neck. Then you want to make sure there's enough glue on the hat, so on the top of the head, so the hat will stick when you put the hat back on again. Then you take the hat and you make sure the hair goes underneath, and you push it down
Oh,
so the
that's
hair goes
great.
under the hat. Okay?
Now, do we have to glue the hat on?
Nope, there should be enough glue in the hair that the hat
It'll
will stay. Then what I do is I put a little more glue on her neck and I put her coat on. Because I want the hair to go over her coat and be hanging down. And I put her neck back on, and it should come right off once it's hardened. Okay? And then I put some glue on her coat so her hair will stick. Because if you leave the hair flowing like curls, it tends to get stuck on everything. Okay?
Oh, yeah, we get caught.
Yes, it gets caught on things and gets
Coat.
pulled. And once the hair gets pulled, it really doesn't really work that well. It sort of hangs. And then you just crumple it up so it looks like she has a lot of hair on her. And if you have an excess or whatever, you can just cut it off. Okay?
Okay, I like
Um,
that.
And you just kind of make it like she has a lot of hair. You don't want her to look like she's bald. And you just
Just
squish
in
it
there.
down
Yeah.
so the glue sticks to it, and she looks like she has a lot of hair.
Oh, she's good. I like
Yeah.
her.
And on her hat, you could put beads.
Okay.
I think she'd look good. The more hair, the better. If you have too much, you can cut it off. But you need to make bangs, because if she looks like she has a lot of hair just coming out of the bottom of her hat, it looks like her hair starts at her neck. You really want
Wow.
it to make it look like she has bangs coming out. So you
Yeah.
start the hair at the top of her eyebrow.
Okay.
And you just make sure when you put the hat on that it looks okay. If it doesn't look okay, you can take the hat off and redo it. All right?
All right, I'm going to work on her. I'm going to give her some stuff, and maybe you can make a straight-on face
Okay.
and show us how to do that one.
All right. Could make it in gold. You want to cut the piece for the hat a little bit bigger than the piece for the coat, because you need a little more plastic for that. Here's the glue.
I'll have to decide what I'm going to put on her this time.
There's some scissors over there too, under the hair.
Yeah, I've got them. Yep. No, that doesn't
Now
show
the
up good.
hair is doll's hair. You can buy little curls. I get the mini. It's called mini curl, and they have you can get it in gray, black, brown, white. The brown is a sort of a reddish brown,
Yep, here we
like
have
this
some,
one here.
We have some brown.
It's almost a reddish brown one, and you can get so many out of this because you don't really need that much. You just need like
Whoops.
a few inches of curl, but it does tend to stick.
Okay, we'll save that. Make
All
that
right.
the next color.
So then you
Hair.
fold the top over the hat to make the brim. You want to be able to see up inside and see that it's the same color as the rest of it.
Okay, now this is going to be sort of a different kind of hat.
Yes. Okay, the front on view hat is a little different because you don't have to really pull a big piece out for the front or the big piece out for the back. You want to once you start working with it, you know, you can. Sometimes you make them a few times, and
You can make all different kinds of hats.
yeah, you can make it any kind you want.
Oh, I like that up the side.
Yeah. Okay, and you make it look like kind of a
Yeah.
40s type of. And like you want to move this as much as you can until it, you know, it starts to get hard, and then you can't move it anymore.
Okay.
Okay. Now on the front view hats, I usually don't put hair. I usually try to make some type of earrings, cut the beads, maybe 2 or 3 beads, and put them on each side of her head. And then I have to melt the plastic for her coat. Some of them look like coats, and some of them look like scarves, like they have a scarf on. And you don't have to use one color. You can use more than one color if you like. You can use gold or black or whatever. Now this one I'm going to fold down so she has black, because she has black under her hat, and I'm going to make black on her, on the front of her too. And now the ones with no neck, you just bring it around like underneath her neck, like this.
Give her a neck.
Right, you have to give her a neck, because they don't have one. And I usually bring it to one side, so she looks like her kerchief or her scarf is going off to the side, blowing in the wind. And like I said, you mold this as much as you can until it's dry, till it starts to get hard. And then you just lay it down and let it dry flat, so it doesn't get out of shape.
Oh, this is
bent.
fun. I can see how you could get going and want to just keep
You really
putting
could.
a little
You
of
could,
everything.
like I said, you can use feathers, any kind of
Oh, let's do one with
sequins.
the feathers. What we can use this pretty feather with?
Mm-hmm.
What would
We could put one on her, or
maybe purple? Would that show up pretty with a feather?
yeah, I probably would. These can really go along pretty good.
Okay, I need some
And
glue.
I usually make a whole bunch and decorate them all at once. And you put a pin on the back. The pin, you can get all different sizes. Sometimes the head is smaller, and so you need to get different size pins. I usually buy one size, and it's not that big. It's about an inch or an inch and a half.
And are you using this goop
Yes, you put it on the back.
for the pins?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that holds it
That's-
on very well. And it's just a little pin that the little thing on the end moves so you can stick it in the coat. And you don't want them too big because they tend to go over the edge of the head and you can see them in back. You don't want to be able to see them in back.
I lost my little piece of... Oh, there it is.
Okay, so I'm melting another piece of plastic. Now this is like a neon purple.
This is almost like playing dolls when we were
It
kids.
is.
I love it.
And they always look like different people. That's the fun of it. And like I said, you can use more than one color. You don't have to, you make a black hat and a red coat with black on it. You just want to make sure that the colors that you use complement each other and they work well with each other. Okay. Now there's her hat. And then we'll make her coat.
Okay.
And then we can put a feather on her.
Oh, good.
This one's dry. So you could put
Okay.
earrings on her, and you could put maybe a little something on the front of her, not too big though.
That's too big, yeah.
Maybe one of the
We need
gold
something with-
sequins.
Yeah.
Okay, you could put a gold sequin right there. And then maybe you could use little sequins to go down the front, like little buttons. Okay?
Yeah.
Or you could use black. You could put black on her so she stands out. You could put beads on her hat or a feather, whatever you like.
Now we're going to put a feather on her.
Mm-hmm. Okay, her clothes are ready. So I stick them on and bring them up to her hat. Now sometimes they tend to get wet, so you just wipe them off a little bit. And I just
Okay.
need some glue to put her feather on. Okay. And I use the tin foil because it doesn't really stick, and a lot of other things do. And you don't want them to stick to it and pull it out of shape. So you put the feather starting at the top of her head
Trying to see what else I want to put
and
on.
bring it down. And you could leave it hanging, or you can cut it, whatever you like.
Ah, that's
Just
good.
like that.
Yeah.
You want it to hang down a little bit,
Yeah.
you know, so it looks like, you know, she's got some sort of feather on her.
Okay, I think she needs a bead or
Yeah.
a sequin on her.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some
Okay.
of these lighter colored ones we could put on.
All right. So,
Put some goop.
now like I said, the glue I use is either Goop or E6000. You can get it at NHD or any of the craft stores. And you get an
E6000?
E6000, it's called.
Okay.
And it's special glue, and it really holds better than regular glue. And then I also use paint on these. And you could make little buttons going down her. And she can really sparkle when you see her in the light.
Yeah.
And she could get an earring also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
So she has earrings and feathers and beads and everything else on her. And here's the red one that we made.
oh, I did bring this. I want to do the one with, I have a pencil.
Oh, the pencil, okay. Here's an earring with the pencil. Now what you do is you cut a strip of plastic,
I heard about the pencil, but we're going to find out what to do with it.
okay, and you just let it melt. And you can make them. Here's a finished one.
Ah,
It makes it like a tube. And you put a hook in it, and you can let it hang. Once it's hard, you wrap it around the pencil, and you can make them, try to make them to match. Oops. My plastic got stuck together.
we'll try that again.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes the strips, if you go to pull them out, they get stuck to each
But
other.
can you remelt that plastic and
I could make,
put it in
I
a
could
mold?
put it on something else, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could take this little piece and reuse it. I have a lot of little pieces that I can, say she needs a little more color on her coat. You could melt a piece.
You could do like these earrings. I love these.
Yes, that's, I made
You could just put that piece
an
on this.
oval on a piece of paper. All right, and then I just decorated it, and you wrap this on the pencil, just like this. So it goes around it like a candy cane.
Oh, Christmas earrings.
Yeah. All right, and then as soon as it hardens, we can pull it off of here, and you're gonna put a hook right in the top of it so it hangs.
Yep.
And you could make, we have molds for little ones that look like shells. And this one would have a hook up the top of it, and it would hang down. Or you could make it just a post on the back of it, and you could make a pin to match it.
Yep.
And we have some square ones, where I put one color in front of the other. So.
This is just, it's endless. We could do this
You can
all
do
night
so
long.
much. It's a lot of fun.
I bet it is. You've been doing it quite a while.
Yes.
Yes, I can see. You're very good when you just quickly do those.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you coming and showing us how to
really
do this. It's been
enjoy
a
it.
lot of fun.
Thank you.
And maybe we'll have you come back and show us some other good things.
That would be great.
Wonderful. Well, I thank you all for joining us tonight at Craft Time, and till next time, keep crafting.